Here with head coach Brad Laird, Northwestern State, getting back on the football field yesterday for practice, but Thursday for this week's game against Southeastern. And Coach, kind of asked Braden Staggs the same thing. Getting out there yesterday for practice, was that cathartic for this team?
You know, that was, there's several steps that you have to take to move forward. And, one thing that we talked about in the team meeting yesterday was a quote from Martin Luther King. He talks about, if you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you got to keep moving forward. And that's kind of, I ended the team meeting yesterday with that. And I think that's, for the players and the coaches to be able to, start working towards the new normal, I guess you could say. And part of that step is going out to practice. And it was good just to be out there with the guys. You saw some guys laughing and breaking a sweat and doing that. So I thought it was very good for players and coaches to be able to get out there.
In this situation, we know that the game has been moved to a Thursday, so it kind of truncates that week. And I guess in some respects, it kind of keeps certain things front of mind and focus back on the football field.
Yeah, because it will be a fast-paced week. With the game being on Thursday night, you got a couple of days less of preparation. But, more importantly, the preparation and execution won't change. And what I mean by that, we may have fewer days, but, what our guys have to do from now until game time is, to prepare to be the best that we can be on Thursday night.
You mentioned the guys laughing and smiling. How any word kind of seems flippant in this time, but how refreshing was that to see?
Yeah, it was, because people grieve differently. And I've said this, and I can tell you, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that Thursday morning, starting about 1:45 in the morning to the end of the day on Thursday was probably the only consistent day. And what I mean by that, because everything was numb, disbelief, emotional. And then, from that day moving forward, because everybody grieves differently, I think we've got to understand and respect that. Some people grieve emotionally, some grieve to themselves, some need to laugh. And so, and it's okay to do any of those. That's the thing that we've just got to learn from each other. What is that grieving process like? And, when everybody else outside of the family in that locker room maybe go their separate way, it's still inside of us, and it's not a situation to where it's a 1 or 2 day thing. This is a thing that we'll continue to grieve, as we continue to move forward. So just having that respect for each other and how they grieve.
As you look forward to Southeastern, you mentioned less time to prepare. You do at least have some familiarity as we kind of shift to the football side of things with Frank Selfo. And you certainly have a lot more familiarity with Anthony Selfo, who's on staff. But, in this situation, when it is a quick turnaround, now they've had a tough season as well, but you do have some familiarity with that staff and kind of what they've done in the past.
Yeah, and I'm going to start out because of, who Frank is. Start with Frank and the administration there at Southeastern as the change occurred to them. Yesterday they were open to do anything they could do to help our situation. And you would think and hope that you get that everywhere, but thankful to Frank Selfo and the administration at Southeastern, for allowing this to change, because both teams want to play and think it'll be good to play. So. And then, knowing what you're going to get on the field, yes, the last thing we're going to do is look at records, and he's probably saying the same thing, because you turn on the film, you don't see that. And it's a very talented football team that, has, things hadn't fell their way in certain games, and we know exactly how that's been. So, what type of football, this is a team that was preseason picked to win the conference, and what they've done since Frank's been there. And so you're going to have a good football team coming here Thursday night.
When you look at there, you're going to have some familiarity with guys on the field too, and it's kind of, you mentioned a new normal. In the world of the transfer portal, you may end up playing guys you've recruited, and you're going to see at least 3 of those out there this weekend. Is it something you're still getting used to as a coach to see those guys on opposite sides?
It is different, and especially this week, those 3 young men that, again, that recruited to come to Northwestern and did some good things at Northwestern State. And, that is the element of college football now. So, the 3 hours, you're going to work to, to do whatever you can to win the game. But, before and after, those are brothers, and we've got a great relationship with those guys, and really look forward to seeing them and hug their neck. A couple of them, especially Zach, had a relationship with Ronnie. I've actually talked to Zach, several different times since the end of last week, and so look forward to seeing him and just hugging his neck and wishing him the best. And again, the 3 hours. We're going to do what we can to win that football game, but before and after, like I said, that is still our brother.
I'm sure during the 3 hours you want the defensive lineman to hug his neck, maybe his shoulders and down, but when you get into it, it's still a football game, and the objective still remains the same.
And that's what's fun about these type of games, when you play some guys that you know what they're about, good people. It's and I said that about Tim Rebo last week, and didn't have the opportunity to play, but those guys, you love the competition, and because it's what you're going to get from those guys, and we look forward to it.
You mentioned those good people, and I think we'd be remiss. You mentioned the administration at Southeastern. I know myself, I've heard from colleagues in this conference. I know you have too, and it's a horrible situation, but it does remind you how close, even in competition, we all are.
No doubt. It's and I told our coaches that it's the people that reach out and support, because they know the investment in the student athletes. They know the relationships that players to players, coach to players have, and you spend so much time with those guys, and so it's you appreciate the texts, you appreciate the calls, you appreciate what they have meant in this grieving process. That's part of it, and also to our administration here that starting with Dr. Jones and Kevin Bastian, and how supportive they've been, and they're hurting, and as we all get through this, it's you really find out a lot about each other's character during adverse situations, and you're seeing there's a lot of great people here at Northwestern State and within this conference.
You always talk about the 5 chances you get to play at home this year. This one probably going to feel a little bit more special given the circumstances and the fact that you're coming back to play at home.
Yeah, having the opportunity after this to play at home will be special, because so many, opportunities that Ronnie had out there on the practice field, and scrimmages, and on a headset. He's done a little bit of all. So, to be able to play it at home, yes, Thursday instead of Saturday, will be special, and have the opportunity to honor Ronnie.
Coach, as always, thank you for your time.